pretty good camp. He dropped a few picks earlier in camp. He got one today, and then Maiden's had one in back-to-back practices.
Yeah, they've like I've said before. I love that safety group. There's some really good football players there. Obviously, Tart's been doing a good job. Um, Marcel is getting better and better every day. Jimmy's been great. Timor is coming along, and Maiden. We've asked him to do some things, and he's doing a good job for his first time out. And then of course there's Cyprian who looks fantastic. So it's a really good safety group.
Hey, Robert, this is a kind of a big picture question, but I'm just curious. In the last few years you've been with Kyle, how you've maybe seen him evolve as a coach, whether it's something X's and O's related or something just the way he deals with his players, anything that you might have seen in the way he's kind of changed over the years.
That is a good question. He's to me, I feel like he's been a relentless football coach from day one, and by relentless I mean just being on top of everything, and not from a micromanaging standpoint, but more of a challenging standpoint, from special teams to offense, defense, evaluation of players, scouting department. Just his footprint is everywhere in this building, obviously, or his fingerprints, and he's been very, very consistent with us as a coaching staff, with the players, the philosophy and the message, and the way he wants the standard at which he's created. Now, how he's evolved from a administrative standpoint and dealing with the media and all that, I guess that'd be more for you guys dealing with them. But as far as a football coach, a person, overall management, all of it, he's been very, very consistent, very relentless, and just his messaging has been very, very consistent since the first day he got here.
Hey, Robert, just kind of a big picture standpoint again. Yesterday or 2 days ago, being in the stadium without any noise, did that feel odd? Did it feel normal? Are you kind of prepared for either case?
We're prepared for either case. I mean, it was boring. No, it's obviously when you have an open stadium and there's no noise, it's not nearly as energetic as a stadium full of people hooting and hollering. But I would imagine as the games get closer and that level of competition comes, I'll be honest, once the games do start, you don't really feel the fans anyway. I mean, it's a very, very intense football game, and you're so focused on your job that the crowd noise and all that stuff is just, for lack of a better word, it's there, but it's not. If I'm making sense to you all.
Hey, Robert. Jimmy Ward, you're talking about the safeties. Jimmy Ward's been a pretty solid player for you. But I think he wants to be, more than just solid. He wants to be a game changer. How do you put him into position and encourage him maybe to, paint outside the lines a little bit to generate more turnovers, takeaways? Do you do that, or does that just have to come as part of the defensive scheme?
No, that's good. So for our scheme, we've as coaches, we give our players call it a 3-foot platform. That's home base. If you don't know what you're doing, if you just stick to home base, you'll be okay. And as a player and as a coach, you try to find ways to make that 3-foot base 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You just keep trying to make that thing widen, and so they understand where they can cheat within the defense to go make plays. And when you've stepped off that platform, you quickly know exactly where you need to go back to, so you can continue on that path to finding ways to make more plays than just what the playbook tells you. Because if you just play the game by the book and just play the game as the book reads, you'll be out there, you won't make mistakes, but you're not gonna make any plays either. On the flip side, as a player, it's where Sherm's been, where he's made a living of just understanding what the playbook is asking of him, but at the same time understanding where he can cheat within the defense to go make a play. And that's what Jimmy's learning. He's going into his second full term now as a free safety. And so the challenge for him is, based on what we did last year and the new things that we're doing this year, how can he make his world, how can he widen his world, and just make it bigger where he can find ways to cheat within the defense to go make plays without sacrificing the scheme. And I think he's getting to that point. He's starting to figure all that stuff out. So.
Hey, Robert. Based on what Kyle said, I guess 2 days ago, there's hope that Ronald Blair will be ready for Week 1, but that's not guaranteed. If Blair isn't ready, how do you feel about your edge rushing depth? And might you have to bring, some interior guys to play out there a little bit more?
So for Ronnie, I'm not sure where that's at. It's obviously more for the performance staff, and can't wait for Ronnie to get back. You guys know how much I love the man. Feel really good about where our D-line's at with regards to depth and all that stuff. You got Armstead, Bosa, D Ford, Kerry Hyder's doing a great job, and so you've got a really solid group right there. And so they just having Ronnie added to that fold would be awesome. But wherever he's at right now, obviously with the performance staff, you guys are going to have to talk to them. But feel good either way. But when Ronnie does make it back, he is obviously a big piece of the puzzle.
Robert, you guys are 2 weeks away from playing here at Levi Stadium against the Cardinals, and without divulging the early game plan, they do have DeAndre Hopkins now in the fold. Is it now, you guys? At what point do you start turning your full focus onto that Week 1 matchup?
Right now, before this 53-man roster's cutting down, obviously as coaches we watch it all, but our focus is on giving every guy an opportunity to make this football team, and they've got 5 days, and so our focus right now is on our team. As coaches, we're staying ahead and looking and all that stuff, but for our players, it's all about present moment and trying to make a 53-man roster.
Robert, as far as deciding on the last two linebacker spots, the reserve linebacker positions, how much of a push and pull is that between you and Richard Hightower on deciding those last two spots?
Oh, man. Special teams is 33% of the game, so they're a big, big piece. And there's really no tug of war. There's discussions, but when you're talking about those spots, there's always tremendous value in special teams. And I do know if Hightower comes in and he's very, very, very strong on a player from a special team standpoint, he's it means something, and vice versa. And I think that respective opinion has been good over the last 3 years. And usually when you get down to the I don't want to call it the back end of the roster or anything like that, but when you get down to those last 2 or 3 spots, special teams is a major focus, and the better they are in teams, the more respect we have for the opinion of Coach Hightower and the guys that he wants to add to his group.
Hey, Robert, I just want to follow up on my question from earlier. You mentioned that Kyle is relentless about challenging everyone in the building. I'm curious, can you give an example of him challenging you or something along the way that you've seen?
Well, he challenges every day, whether it's something with our scheme, whether it's the way we communicate, not only with one another but with other people in the building, with players, whether or not we're doing everything we can to give the players everything they need to succeed. Just anything you pick it. I can go on forever from the individual challenges he gives everybody to maximize their own personal ability, whether it be player, coach, intern, it doesn't matter. He's got a standard that he lives by, and he expects everybody to uphold that standard, uphold his standard. So it doesn't matter, strength coach, equipment room, training staff. He's always challenging everybody to do their best. With me, it could be scheme, it could be how I handle the defensive staff, how I handle the player. It doesn't matter. How I communicate with the scouting department and John Lynch. So he's always trying to develop individuals, and he does so by challenging, and he expects perfection, and he demands perfection, and it's just relentless every single day to make sure that you're on top of your job doing the best you can.
Robert, with final cuts coming up inside the week, I know the team has been guarded about information regarding players who might be on the back end of the roster, and understandably so. But is there an effort on your part? I know you're focused on the guys that you have in the building now, but is there an effort to maybe peruse online reports or have members, staffers peruse online reports and try to glean any information possible about other teams or guys that may be available, given that there's a lack of film from the lack of preseason?
Yeah, I think John and his staff are all over that. It's like I said, we're so focused on as coaches on the people that are here. Feel like we'd be, as individual coaches, be doing them a disservice if we're not giving them all our attention. And so, does John and his staff do that? I'm sure they do, but to be honest with you, it hasn't been brought up yet, and it's because, like I said, even for those guys upstairs, they're so focused on evaluating the men that are here, and they deserve that. They've earned that right, and so all our focus is on our guys.
Robert, from a defensive coordinator's perspective, what have you seen from Jimmy Garoppolo and how he's gotten better or progressed since his beginning of last season when he really started as a starter?
He seems more decisive. A year ago, people forget it was really his second year technically starting, because his first year he got hurt really early. Some can argue that it was his first year starting, but his comfort level in the scheme and what Kyle and his staff are asking of him, what each play is asking of him, and so he's much more decisive with the football, and he has such an amazing arm talent that the quicker he can be decisive and when I say decisive, I mean just decisive, where that ball is in his hands and out on his back foot. When he hits his back foot in his drop, it's a thing of beauty, and you're seeing more and more of it throughout camp, where there's less where do I go with the ball? There's less holding on to it. It is a very decisive. He's a very decisive quarterback, and I could only imagine it's only going to get better and better as once they get into game planning and settling things in. And so he's talented, and so and everyone in the building has a tremendous amount of confidence in him.
Hey, Robert, I was just wanted to ask you, some players have talked about just the aftermath of the Super Bowl and how they dealt with it. One guy said he saw like Stanley Cup highlights and he had to turn it off because he didn't like seeing anyone celebrating like a big win. Just different examples like that. It just was raw. I was just wondering, just from your personal perspective, kind of how you dealt with the Super Bowl loss, and at what point were you able to kind of start moving on?
Haven't moved on yet. I have, but it's still you think about that play every time that game goes on. You think about the game. I think I laid in bed for a couple of weeks, but no, that's part of the business. You win some, you lose some, but the commitment we have to one another is to find our way back there, and we know that we can't get back there unless we take care of today's practice, and we can't get back there unless we dominate tonight's meetings and repeat and do it over and over again and go through each day and win every day. But those, it's I've been blessed to be part of the 13 championship team in Seattle, and I think they always say you remember the ones you lost more than the ones you win, and so yeah, that one's going to stick with us forever. But at the same time, we're all grown, we're all adults, and we know that we have an opportunity to get back there again by dominating the days. So yeah, it's tough, but it's at the same time you just move on, because it's part of being an adult and moving forward. So.
Hey, Robert, you mentioned depth. As you get into the season, how important is it for you to just continue to develop the young guys like Greenlaw, Al Shahir, Tavares Moore, and then some of the young talent you have up front?
It's very, very important. The NFL is a war of attrition, and by the end of the year, you're going to have those guys playing they're going to be playing very, very important minutes for you, and taking some very, very important plays. So, and they're also the backbone of your football team. You're always trying to develop your talent. The attention goes to your starters. That's who gets all the attention game day and all that stuff. But there is a very, very focused effort to make sure that the development of our younger guys are at the front of our minds always. It's why we have our the practice sessions we have before and after practice to make sure those guys are getting the work they need, because they're one play away, and they're the ones that we're counting on. It's, with salary cap and all that, it's hard to keep everyone. So you're always trying to develop your roster, develop the back end and all that stuff. So it's very, very important to make sure that they're continuing to develop both on and off the field, to be honest with you.
All right, thanks, folks.
Thank you.
Hey, Jordan. My name is Tracy. I'm from Fangirl Sports Network. I was just wondering if you could talk a little bit about how you're adjusting to the offense and the playbook, and as you've seen more action the last few days, just how you feel camp is going.
Yeah, I'm adjusting well to it. Kyle's offense is very complex, so I learn best with reps, and they've been getting me more reps lately, so I'm starting to pick up on it, day by day.
Jordan, how much more, I guess, easier is your transition because it's Kyle Shanahan and because you have, some experience and history with him coming here?
Yeah, it's similar to what he had going on in Washington, but it changed a lot. It's very complex. So, like I said, I'm just, the more reps I get, the better I'm gonna get at it. So I just got to keep practicing every day.
Jordan, the 49ers are obviously easing you back into the swing of things very slowly. I'm just wondering, do you agree with that approach? Has that been hard for you after not playing last season? What's your take on just how the whole process has gone since you've gotten here?
Yeah, I thought it's been great. The way they handle things here is very professional. They treat us like, professional athletes, and they just want the best for us. So I really appreciate how they let me come along, and now I'm feeling great, and I'm looking forward to the season.
Jordan, my name is Matt Mailka from NBC Sports Bay Area. Through all the stuff that you've gone through in your career, did you ever consider hanging them up, or just how motivated, what continues to drive you to play football?
Yeah, man, I definitely thought about hanging it up after last season, but yeah, it was when I seen the Super Bowl that really, kind of ignited me again, and just, I wanted playing those big games, man, and God blessed me to be here and a part of this great team, and gave me an opportunity to be in that situation. So, yeah, that's what's driving me, and I love the game of football, and I just want to keep. I still got the drive to keep playing. So.
Jordan, my name is Nick Wagner from ESPN. Following up on that, what has it been like just being back on the field? I mean, is it a reinvigorating experience? What has it been like just, actually getting back to doing what you love?
Yeah, man, this is the most fun I had playing football ever. Honestly, I don't know if it's because I didn't play all season last year or what, but, since I've been out there, I've just been having a blast, and I've just been really grateful. Yeah.
Jordan, my name is Chris Biederman of the Sacramento Bee. following up on the ramp up period physically that you went through, what was the biggest physical hurdle for you? Is it just knocking rust off and getting back in football shape?
Yeah, it's definitely just knocking the rust off. I ain't playing a year, so I'm playing against the top guys right now, one of the best defenses in the league. So it's definitely, knocking the rust off, getting my feet underneath me, and just learning the playbook.
Hey, Jordan. Is Eric Branch with the San Francisco Chronicle. Obviously, it's been reported you've had 7 documented concussions and you had to miss last year because of your last one. I assume, obviously, that was a big part of thinking about whether to keep playing football. How much does, I guess, your long-term health worry you, and what have you, been told by, I assume you've seen some doctors or specialists?
Yeah, man, I seen, before I made my choice, I went out and I seen some professionals, and, I did my rehab and all tests were clear, and, I'm healthy and I'm good to go.
Jordan, it's Cam Inman of the San Jose Mercury News here. When you got signed or came aboard, George Kittle talked about how great of a route runner you are. What's the interaction been like between you and George, and what are your thoughts on him?
I think George is a great dude, man. Talented, supremely talented guy. Real humble and real helpful. So it's a blessing to be on the same team as him and playing alongside him.
Hey, Jordan, Jake Hutchinson of KNBR. 2 questions. One, I noticed you don't wear gloves, but it looked like you did earlier in your career. Is there a story behind that? And then 2, what's it been like getting back with Kyle Shanahan and just working in this offense?
Yeah, I wear gloves. Sometimes I don't, sometimes I do. If it's raining, I probably won't. It's not, I just do whatever comes. But yeah, it's been great to be back with Kyle, man, and just such a talented play caller, and I'm just really excited for the opportunity.
Jordan, Jennifer again, NBC Sports. What is your scouting report on Jimmy Garoppolo? How has he been to work with, kind of gel with? And then also, Trent Williams said when he got here, immediately he felt kind of a difference in culture. You guys both came from the same organization. Just kind of the feeling he got when he walked in the building, warm, welcoming, and definitely kind of a winning culture, which was not something he experienced in Washington.
Yeah, it's been great playing with Jimmy. He's a really talented guy, really accurate with the ball, and he knows he commands the offense well. So, it's been great so far. And coming from Washington to coming here, man, it's a big change for me. Big culture change. Everything is upbeat, positive. Everybody's doing their job to the best of their ability, and it just brings out the best in you because you wanna fit the standard here. So I'm grateful for being here for sure.
Last one for Jordan. Hey, Jordan, Kyle Posey, Niners Nation. You talked about the level of competition. Can you just talk about what it's like going against the 49ers defense and how that's helped you as a player early on here?
Yeah, you gotta bring your A game. You gotta know exactly what you're doing, because if you don't, you'll get exposed. So it just demands you to be all, fully locked in and on top of your game.
Thank you, Jordan.
Appreciate it.
All right, folks, we're good to go.
Hey, DJ, this is Chris Biederman from the Sacramento Bee. When you went down, I guess a couple weeks ago now, I think, what was there concern on your part initially about potentially injuring your shoulder, and what did that feel like to get it tested and know that there wasn't a significant injury there?
All I know is I'm back now. Pass is the pass. We have a great staff here, so they helped me out, and I'm back.
Hey, DJ, Jake Hutchinson. You talked about over the offseason how you worked on your pass rushing moves, and obviously that's shown up pretty early on. Do you feel like, the work you put in is really going to pay off in the regular season?
Oh, no doubt, no doubt. I put an emphasis on not stopping my feet. It's something Coach Chris molded into my mind to make sure that I continue to work on, and it's something I worked on, and I see it transition into the field.
DJ, with a few injuries on the defensive line, there's been some kind of shifting around. How comfortable are you guys kind of just moving around from side to side, interior to exterior, and vice versa?
Very comfortable. We got guys like Kevin Givens, Kentavia Street that can play inside, out, Eric, Solomon. I mean, we're all versatile. Everybody can play everywhere, so we're real comfortable. The most uncomfortable places have to be the most comfortable for us, so that's how it is.
DJ Jake again. With those guys, Kevin Givens, Kentavia Street, they've really looked like they've taken it up a notch this camp. What do you attribute that to? Is that, what they done in the offseason? Is that Kasurik's influence?
I contribute that to want to. So you got to want to be great. And I feel like Street and Kevin Givens have taken a big step. I'm proud of both of them. And the sky's the limit for him. And Street mainly, man, he's taking a step that nobody else in the room is taking. And if he keeps going, it's no ceiling.
Hey, DJ, it's David Lombardi. Last time we talked was right before the pads came on. Now that the pads have been on for a couple of weeks, I'm wondering what this training camp has been like physically for you, maybe when you compare it to your previous training camps.
It's different. It's obvious. COVID has put us in a different place. But, I mean, pads are pads. You're going to hit, you bumps and bruises. But we've gotten through it. We've gotten to this point. So just blessed to be here today.
Hey, DJ, Kyle Posey, Niners Nation. I was just wondering if you had started studying the Cardinals' offensive line yet and some of your takeaways from them.
Have I started studying them? Yes, of course. Of course, I played them. Past 3 years. I've been studying them the past couple weeks, but I mean, this next week we'll hone in on them and just get ready for them.
Hey, DJ, you mentioned Kentavious. Now that you've seen him, I guess, healthy, can you tell the last 2 years he really was not healthy? I mean, is there just a difference, and do you attribute it to his knee being okay?
Right now, I don't think he's even thinking about that knee, the way he's playing. And, the past couple of years, I've seen him hobbling around, doing treatment every day, and I think he's just happy to have that knee at full strength, whether it is or isn't. But he's balling right now. So, I think that knee's full go, and he's showing it.
DJ, I know Kinlaw didn't practice today, but what have you seen progress-wise from him so far? And where do you see him kind of fitting into your defensive line?
He's fitting perfect as of right now. He's getting better every day. He wants to learn. His strength is his number one, so his toolboxes can get better every day. And as long as he wants to continue to learn, he'll get better.
DJ, someone else who seems to have had a pretty improved camp is Solomon Thomas. Can you talk a little bit about what you've seen from him and where you think that's come from?
Solly is high energy. feel like if we don't have any energy, we can look to him, and just like by him setting an example. Solomon's always been like that, but as far as pass rush, he's become a pass rusher, a run stopper. He's just elevated his game in year 4, and I think we're all gonna follow behind him.
All right, thanks, DJ.
Hey, Jaworski. It
Hey.
seemed like today you you had a little takeaway against when the pass was intended for Dante Pettis. He got a pass, kind of came over to you and jawed a little bit at you. Can you talk about your little competition there and what exactly did he say to you in that interaction?
He didn't really say too much, but before he scored in practice, they threw a deep ball to him on Emmanuel Mosley, and I got the ball and gave it to him and told him he needed to catch it. And then he scored and came back and tried to tell me the same thing.
Jaworski, Kyle Posey, Niners Nation. Seems like the safeties have been really active this training camp. I know the focus this offseason was just to get more turnovers. Can you just talk about how you guys performed and how that can carry over into the regular season?
For us, I mean, as a secondary, we hang our hat on catching the ball. And last year as safeties, I don't think we ended up with any picks, but besides T. Moore in the Super Bowl. So for us, it's been a big deal to try to get the ball as much as we can. And a lot of guys been working hard to try to make it happen. So I mean, give those guys credit. Get the secondary credit.
Jaworski, Jake Hutchinson. You just talked about Tarvarius getting that pick in the Super Bowl. It seems like he's taken another step this offseason. What do you attribute that step to?
To answer your question, like everybody on our roster is versatile. They can play anywhere in the defense, and Timor, Sale, everybody is. Everybody works so hard. Everybody come in as a starter. So everybody has that mindset that they're a starter. So it don't really matter if they don't start. Everybody working hard and preparing as if they do start, and that's one thing about our defense. Like everybody can play, and everybody hungry to make a huge impact on the team.
Hey, Jaworski. Robert Saleh said earlier how much he loves the safety group. Could you just talk a little bit about the vibe of your group and the vibe of the room and why you think he loves it so much?
Because we always own each other. Even like with my pick today, they'll still find something to say bad about what happened. But for the most part, it's just we love each other. We all push each other hard each and every day. So for us, it's always about trying to make the next man better, and that's one thing we always try to do. Just try to keep each other better.
As your priority is to take away the ball and get interceptions, when you're looking and watching Jimmy Garoppolo and how he's progressed since he started last season, is there anything that he's doing better or that's easier for you guys to pick up on his, getting a read from him?
Yeah. Far as this camp goes, he's been doing a better job of just making me not stay true when I should stay true. And what I mean by that is, it's with his eyes. Sometimes he'll look one way, and I'm thinking, okay, he for sure throwing the ball to the right side of the field, and he'll come back late and throw it to the opposite. So that a few times got me and make me stay true when I'm in the post.